Hey everybody, welcome back to the Gateway Resources and Support. We're the Gateway Survivor Series here on YouTube. It's me and my colleague Brooke. Today we're going to revisit some rubrics because there's been some changes since the last time we recorded. If you've checked out episode 2, the only rubric on there now is the science rubric because there's been an update to the social studies rubric. So today this is episode 2A. We're calling this an update because there's a new rubric. It's the new rubric alert. To be on the lookout. Here's what you're being graded on. We're going to revisit all of that. As always, don't forget if you have questions, you can drop them down in the comments below, and either Brooke or I will reply as soon as we can. Additionally, if you haven't been on the channel in a while, I want to remind you that you can visit the GCPS homepage, Gwinnett County homepage, type in Gateway as your search. And then you'll notice there's that whole dedicated Gateway page. I do want to point out a few reminders. There's a new U.S. History Interpretive Guide. If you haven't seen this, it's worth clicking on. It opens up. There's 9 pages here. You can scroll through. It gives you a little bit of additional background on the test. If you haven't seen that in a while, if you haven't been on the page in a while, they're always updating this. So check in occasionally if you're looking for resources. And then down at the bottom here, the Social Studies Instructional Guide. This is great because it has newly released prompts for these topics. It has the scoring rubrics that we're going to look at today. It has the 3 domains. Previously there was 4 domains. There's only 3 now. The expression of academic knowledge, organization of academic ideas and conventions. But this document also has sample papers in it. And that can be pretty beneficial as you're thinking about this work. And then it ends with some instructional strategies as well. So speaking of the new domains, there's only 3 this time. This is a sample. This isn't anybody's actual student report. But I want to really point out to you here the 3 domains. I want to focus on those a little bit. I'm going to move in closer here. So we're going to get into this more, but now this domain 1, the expression of academic knowledge, is worth 50% of your score. And this is the social studies rather. This is the social studies information. This next one is the organization of your academic ideas. That's worth 40%. And then the last part here, the conventions, that's worth 10% of your overall grade. So I do want to jump right in to this. Again, this looks very familiar. There's only 3 domains now. I want to repeat that a few times, probably instead of 4. So this first one, this expression of academic knowledge, I'm going to put right at the top. This is worth 50% of your score. You notice here, this is the depth of understanding through analysis, synthesis. You can read that. But this is really where you're showing off your learning, your knowledge of social studies. That might be your prior knowledge, the amount of the prior knowledge, the accuracy and relevance of your information, how you use and incorporate the documents into this, the depth of your development, and then the use of that academic language. And you'll notice that comes up here with this 4, right? This 4 is the exclamation point paper. As a quick reminder, these 4 papers are not perfect papers. They're just consistently good. In this case, the consistent control of the components of the expression of academic knowledge response is characterized by some of these things below here. I'm not going to read all of them to you, but this considerable, relevant, and correct prior knowledge. You are really showing your learning here. You are showing your knowledge on this topic. The effective analysis and interpretation of important relationships implicit in the writing task. So you're exploring those relationships, analyzing them as well. And then you're drawing conclusions that are supported with the factual information. Again, well-developed descriptions of relevant social studies facts. And then this bottom one, extensive use. Extensive, I think, is important there. Extensive use of that social studies vocabulary in the response. And key note here, this is from within and beyond the provided documents. So it's not just what academic language you're pulling out of the documents, but also that additional prior knowledge of your social studies vocabulary that you're bringing to this test. All parts of the task are explained comprehensively. This is you addressing every element of the task, doing it well, consistently, right? This number 3, the level 3 here, this is a passing paper. You get to this level on all the domains and you're in good shape. This is generally relevant, generally correct. Sufficient control here. the note at the bottom that gives it all away. The majority of the task is explained with sufficient detail. So this is that I'm just going to pass. I'm just getting to that point. And so, sufficiently developed descriptions, adequate social studies vocabulary. So you're showing this is that just in time, that just enough. But really, let's shoot for this top one, right? This consistent control, extensive use, considerably relevant and correct prior knowledge. All right, so the next one here, this is the organization of academic ideas. Now remember, this is worth 40% of your score now. And this is the way the ideas are arranged in a clear order, and the overall structure of the response is consistent with the parts of the assigned task. So the overall plan and strategy is appropriate to the task. You have an introduction, a body, and conclusion, and then you have linked your ideas, the sequence, the grouping, and the transitioning as well. So this consistent control talks about effectively establishing and maintaining a controlling idea. This idea of a historical claim. You also notice effective use of topic sentences. I believe there's another video on topic sentences in here. I know Brooke did a video on writing those great conclusions. And then also she did one on effective and varied transitions, and I'm quite jealous of how good that one turned out. So this idea of the organization maintains focus and control throughout the essay. So I can see your idea, I can see how your idea flows and works throughout, and that you've addressed the prompt effectively and at an appropriate level. The sufficient control here, again, you're establishing a controlling idea. It's there, it's present. As a scorer, as a reader, we can see it. There is an organizational structure, and it's purposeful to develop that topic. There's a conclusion, but it just summarizes. Again, this is where I'm going to draw a star there. Go back and find Brooke's video on conclusions, because that one's going to be really powerful for you for this element of it. And then also transitions that contribute to the focus of the writing. So this is some of those more basic transitions. They're present, and they actually add to the writing, the impact of the writing. Here's the last one. This is those conventions. This is 10% of your total score. Talking about spelling, sentence structures, verb tense, punctuation. I'm really only going to focus on this 4 today, because the idea then, this is not a perfect paper we're looking for. Not me. I'm not grading it, but the idea that it's a good paper, it's consistent, and then ultimately the errors do not interfere with the meaning. So when they're reading your paper, they understand what you're trying to say. The spelling, the punctuation, the sentences don't get in the way of that. You might even, this is that 4 paper, right? You're going to have sentences that vary in length and structure. You're going to have a variety of clear and generally effective sentences. And then really this one here, the words spelled correctly. And then it's not, again, interfering. And then I really like this, are consistently correct. So for the most part, things are good. They're not interfering with the overall understanding for the graders, for the readers. So that's the conventions, and that's only 10% now. So going back real quick, you've got 40% for the organization and 50% for the expression of academic knowledge. Please, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. If mention something in here, don't forget that all the other videos are linked as well. If there's something you want to go check out, check those out too. Thanks a lot for stopping by. Have a great day.